Lush One.
Yes, sir.
Hit me with your analysis of where we stand right now at the Kendrick and Drake beef. There is so much to talk about this. I would just say let's make sure that we breathe and that we spread this out. I want to really identify exactly where we're at, because this might be the last time that we have a serious discussion about, well, it certainly won't be the last time, but this might be our final word for this chapter of what has arguably, and we can get into this argument a little bit later, but it arguably has been the biggest rap beef in the history of rap.
This is the only rap beef since Biggie and Pac that was covered by national news outlets. You know, like there was no like newspapers talking about rap beef. There was no morning shows, you know what I mean? Like making quippy remarks, joking about it and analyzing this is the biggest.
Look at that. 3 hours ago, the New York Times, the Kendrick Lamar versus Drake beef explained.
That's what I'm saying.
What are we talking about? Yeah.
Like,
and we're at a crazy inflection point moment of realizing like, oh, this was a rap beef, and now it is slowly becoming something else, because with the Cash XO getting his security guard shot, now the OVO security guard getting shot, it's like, oh, this is actually like having ramifications that are going to be the kind of stuff that we're not going to be laughing at.
Well, yeah, if there's even any relation between the, you know what I mean? Like,
I've heard from pretty reliable sources that that's what it looks like.
And at the end of the day, nobody really knows except for parties involved. There's a lot of different stories going around, but as far as the actual music element of it, at this point, I thought that Drake was an incredible chess player, and he is. And the fact that a pop star of such a high magnitude is even being discussed as a supreme lyricist and going back and forth with arguably, a Pulitzer Prize winning pen. And that's that's not a metaphor. He literally won a Pulitzer Prize. This is one of the greatest, just writers of text or creators of words of this generation and several before it, Kendrick Lamar. Now, as far as the beef goes, Kendrick is playing three-dimensional cyborg chess from another dimension. First of all, how do you combat Drake, the dude whose sales records are being compared to Michael Jackson's? And he's like, I got more hits than the Beatles, dog. You're talking about this guy right here. Well, you start off, that you don't make the best club bangers, Kendrick, right? We haven't listened to a song in the club by Kendrick Lamar since low-key ever, because
Drake, pull up, Drake. That's only because it was about alcohol.
Okay. So we're going back to 2012.
But you have to skip over a couple albums to really get a club banger from him.
With that being said, he's like, what's the smartest thing I could do? Oh, I'm going to hop on a Future and Metro Boomin song to get a charting record that's going to be played at fucking Payless shoe stores and Target and everywhere across the world. You know what I mean? So that was a chess move in and of itself. I'm going to just start this out hitting You Where It Hurts, which is on the charts, because Drake cannot be compared to Kendrick or any other artist in that capacity.
But
right?
just to lay out the order of operations, I did a podcast with your friend Whack 100 on Thursday, and on that podcast we were having a conversation that my statement on Thursday. Now keep in mind this is Tuesday, 5 days or so later.
That's
my statement,
bestie right there.
That it is, my friend. Yes, but so 5 days before today, I was saying that I didn't feel like Kendrick had taken a full W in the battle because, and keep in mind, Thursday, that's 2 days after Euphoria drops, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so at that moment, to me, I felt like, look at Kendrick. He's taking his shots at Drake. Everybody else, Rick Ross, Future, etc., they've all taken their shots, and we're looking at Drake, and Drake seems to have taken no damage. Yeah. I think now, 5 days removed from the craziest Friday night maybe ever in the history of hip-hop music, you can no longer say that Drake has taken no damage.
Right.
So Friday, I go to the burger spot with Kareem. I get home. Boom. Drake drops his record. Kendrick drops his within an hour of that shit. Mm-hmm. And then immediately fucking follows it up. And that to me, it's that to me is the chess move that seemed the most significant in all of this, is that he really inundated Drake with so much music that it kind of just outpaced Drake's output.
Right. Well, definitely.
Yeah.
And which
Which is not really a technique that we've seen in rap history to like have the records on deck and release them immediately after like that. Like that stands out a lot.
The Game was like that with 50. And remember, the Game was making entire songs. He was making albums, DVDs
and all that, but it wasn't rapid fire.
It wasn't, but it was like
it was no way to rapid fire.
It was
to get that many discs print up and all that one day.
When you heard Family Matters, it felt like, oh, he won. Like this is going to be really tough for Kendrick to outperform in terms of that song. And then Kendrick just, I don't know. It's like I feel like he just kind of flooded the zone and he made it so that it was impossible for you to really pay attention to the Family Matters thing. And then the Not Like Us thing.
I mean,
on a musical level, that song just feels like such a massive fucking hit. And every single time I hear it, like people are already playing like clips of it playing during NBA games and stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't think of anything that's going to fuck Drake up in the head much more than a song that's literally calling you a PEDO file on a fucking song that's going to be played on that level. Now, this is upsetting to me to a certain extent because of the fact that this is a totally unfounded allegation. Like, this is not something that's really rooted in reality. The worst things that you can say about Drake in that regard are basically like that you've had a couple of weird lyrics and then there's this one clip of you with the girl on stage that realistically, let's be real, he didn't have anything to do with her being on stage. His fucking team pulled her out of the crowd.
It was the fact that she said she was 17, then proceeded to be kissed in the mouth.
Well, she said that before?
Yeah, before the kiss in the mouth.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
He's like, how old are you? She's like 17. He's like, oh, damn. Like, and the whole crowd like, oh.
And he kissed her on the lips after that?
He was like, yeah,
I didn't know
but she beautiful. Then he kissed her.
I haven't watched that clip in a few years.
Also, you don't find there's something odd about like open fandom of teenage girls and young girls. Like, oh, I'm a huge fan of these different like high school basketball player girls and following them and being all. That's just a little bit odd. I'm not saying that's
a little odd. Yeah,
that's cool.
But to call him a pedophile on a fucking giant record like that,
yeah.
The only shit that you can point to is that girl was up under Universal's umbrella after that. Her dad was at the show. Her and her dad started a record.
Wait, who are you talking about now?
The girl that got her name.
Oh, the girl at the show.
Yeah,
okay,
the girl at the show, and it's like,
I mean, she spoke out clearing his name.
Yeah, I mean, of course, she's been up under him the whole time, and it's like, all right, cool, whatever the case is. The only thing that they can even point to is that, and it's like, all right, I wouldn't have did it. I don't think he should have did it.
He probably wouldn't have done it if he had like been cognizant of what was happening in the moment as well.
Yeah, it will. I mean, I think it caught him off guard clearly, but regardless, like it's, you know, it's the collage of all these different factors coming together. But regardless, if it's true or not, this is battle rap philosophy 101. You're whatever religion I say you are. Oh, you're not Buddhist. Well, this battle you a Buddhist.
Yeah.
And I got bars pointing it out, and I'm gonna make it make sense. So whether it's true or not doesn't matter in the context of the record, where you have millions of people now referring to you as such, and it's getting played in the club. And what did I say he needed to do last week? I said he needs a motherfucking West Coast banger produced by a legendary West Coast producer. He needs to get in his corrupt calling out names bag.
Exactly.
And his, you feel me? Like that's what he needs. His DJ Quick dollars and cents bag. And I was like, oh, maybe have Quick produce it. But he did something even crazier. He got DJ Mustard, who were kind of hungry for that sound for some reason. When's the last time Mustard was fucking on the charts? I think it was 2021. That Ty Dolla $ign featuring Janae Aiko song. I think it's from 2020. That's 4 years ago, the last charting DJ Mustard song, all right? Now, as soon as we heard that Mustard on a beat, I was juice. I'm already sold. That's all I needed to hear. And he really, and it wasn't just because I have this West Coast bias. Like, I'm cool with Drake.
I almost had tears in my eyes.
Oh, we know. You got the tweet.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
there's a flick.
Yeah, exactly. There's multiple flicks, videos. Like, I posted battles with him. He's always showed love. You know what I mean? Like, he's a cool-ass dude. But on some rapping shit, like, that's what you supposed to do. That's why Back to Back was so hot. You feel me? Because Back to Back resonated.
Crazy.
Yeah, that resonated.
This song had, I don't give a fuck where you go, but from fucking New Mexico on back to the water and from San Diego to Seattle will be played in
They
the
not
club
like us.
for the next.
They not like us.
For the next 2 years, you're gonna have to hear this. Every time you hit the West Coast, you're gonna have to hear this song. We haven't had a banger like this.
And that's why when I
minute.
say that Drake hadn't taken any damage, when I said that on Thursday, that seemed true to me at that time. It feels like somehow this collage of different disses has incurred some serious damage because Drake is going to have to be the guy where think about this. Every time he goes to an NBA game, every time he goes outside the crib in general,
it's bad.
he's at risk of that fucking song playing. It just takes one salty DJ to hit play on that shit.
History repeating itself.
That's like this karmic debt to the universe exactly.
Meek Mill just had to go through that for a couple of years.
Yeah, like he might have to stay inside for a couple months just to like eliminate or only attend events in which he is very close with the DJ.
Or go crazy. Or go crazy on the mustard beat. I said go crazy on the mustard beat.
But whatever he puts out now, it doesn't feel like it could possibly have the impact because Drake put out a song yesterday that was essentially like a
explanation.
It was like a community note to explain like, hey, I'm not into little girls. Hey, you actually like your girl seems to have left you and maybe that kid isn't yours.
It was on the defensive.
It was on the defensive and it felt like the end. And it felt like the tone with Drake was kind of like, all right,
I'm over this
done.
shit.
You judge it how you want to judge it. I thought my shit was better. A lot of people think your shit was better. Whatever, bro.
Whatever.
That's essentially what he said.
I know, and that's like a weird tone to take in a battle. Like in a battle rap sphere, you've lost once you take on that tone, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is this, like you said, Drake was low-key, despite the fact Kendrick had that #1 record, that's still a Future and Boomin's. That's Boomin's song, really, right?
Yeah.
You feel me? And then you got fucking Future. Like, that's not really your record, Kendrick. That was cool. Little diss, you calling out your little shots, you're alluding to some shit. Like, but at the end of the day, Drake was low-key up. And in battle rap, you could be up the first 2 rounds. You could have Calico versus Loaded Lux. Calico's like low-key clearly winning the first 2, but then that 3rd round comes and it's a fucking fatal death blow. And that's not to say that like the Meet the Graham shit wasn't hard with the Alchemist production. Like
it wasn't.
Yeah, Alchemist on the beat. Come on, you can't lose.
I don't really care. The Meet the Grams was like you not matching energy. He doubled back and matched that energy.
It hit different,
energy.
And he kept it West from the beginning, from the Rodney O and Joe Cooley sample on the first joint to, you feel me, all the different fools, like from the way he has the Alchemist joint, he has Mustard, he's bringing back, like that's keeping it West, and
all the way.
And this is what happens when fools are unifying and dissing other people as opposed to internal conflict, which we are so prone to.
But can we just acknowledge how corny it is seeing all of these washed LA rap personalities who are like basically on Twitter acting as if this is their W? It's like, no, Kendrick caught a big W. His team caught a big W.
Yeah.
Your career is still in the trash cans. You got 5,000 Twitter likes. I feel you. I know it feels good, but don't be acting like this is a W for you. Your shit is still washed.
Who are you talking?
Listen, I'm talking about a whole lot of people. I ain't naming no names. I'm just saying that there's a lot of West Coast personalities trying to claim this body, and it ain't working. Like, you are washed.
It's a dub.
It's over with.
It's a dub for K. At the end of the day, that's it.
How do they hop back in? They jump into beef?
It's just, you've seen a lot of people whose careers are totally washed and want to become hip hop commentators as soon as there's something like big to commentate on, you know?
Kendrick has 2 W's. And it's not, okay, W with the Drake shit, but W how you come in and bully somebody's beef. And take over. This was a Metro. If Metro don't trust, we ain't even talking about Metro except for fucking Metro grooming.
Drake has yet to diss Future in all this. Like, he damn near didn't say shit about Future. Nothing substantial.
And that's the thing that we have to kind of admire Drake for. He's taken on the entire industry. Everybody's on his helmet. You feel me? And he's got like Ja Morant, all these random people commentating on it, like going against it. Like, that's a lot to endure. And he's holding his own. But you're right, he hasn't addressed a lot of
Morant is a young boy fan, so that's where that energy comes from.
But still, like, that holds weight when you have all these people simultaneously.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's like, a rap. Just drop an album, Drake. Like, I don't know what
you need another one dance.
Okay, yeah,
just do like a one dance type beat.
But that's the argument, is that he hasn't exactly made a fucking one dance. He hasn't made a real hit in the last couple albums.
It could come to him.
And I agree with you. I still think he's got those songs in him. It's just the fact that as like once people really want to not believe in you, it can be really hard for like I don't know, like the next time he drops, it's like it's just gonna have to be something spectacular.